to the Infinity Flux 2025 End of Year Comic Award
Hooray!
Show, or what we are now referring to as the Fluxies.
Totally original.
Totally original.
Yeah.
I'm Andy.
I'm Matt.
And this is, usually we do like a end of the year recap. We talk about some of our favorite books that came out, our favorite panels, our favorite that kind of stuff. But why not dress it up as its own award show?
The first of many.
The first of many. Yeah. I'm really pushing for a live audience.
That's right. Next year it'll happen.
So hopefully you have fun with this. We had fun putting it together and revisiting a lot of the books and series and everything that came out in 2025. And let's hand out some awards.
Yeah, we want to say too, real quick, like, you know, there's several different categories, lots of different things talked about. So as you are watching this, let us know in the comments what are your favorite ones of each of these, or if there's some that I'm sure there will be some that we don't mention that were your favorites. So just let us know everything that you think in all these different categories, whether you agree or not. It's all for fun.
Yeah, and like you said, this is our opinion, and it's our also recent opinion, because it's really hard to remember to the beginning of the year and some of the stuff that came out. I'm sure we're going to forget a lot of stuff. But also we did over on our YouTube, on the community page, I set up polls for 3 of the categories. And as we go, we'll also tell you what you voted for as some of your favorite things. But let's kick it off with our first category, and that is the best fight.
That's right.
Once again, I mean, these are comics, so this was really hard because every book had probably a couple of scrapes in it.
Oh, yeah. You know, especially when it comes to superhero comics, it's like that's what they're all about, right? The fights, the throwdowns, the knockdowns, the dragouts, and that kind of thing. So we picked what we thought were the most fun ones, but obviously there's so many more that we could have put in here. So again, let us know what you think.
Yep. So we're going to start off with our nominees.
Yep.
Hulk versus Thor.
Yeah, so this is from Incredible Hulk number 25 that came out a few months ago. I read this one. I hadn't read Incredible Hulk for a while and then picked this one up and was blown away. The entire issue is Hulk versus Thor, art by Nick Klein. We tried to pick the coolest panel out of the entire thing where Hulk throws an old rusted ship out from underwater, and then Thor comes back down on him with his hammer. So yeah, this was such a cool fight. Like, I would love to see more of this.
Next up, we have Bane versus Batman, or really what this is the imaginary fight.
That's right.
That Alfred kind of narrates.
Yeah.
Like what could possibly happen.
Yeah, this is from Absolute Batman number 10, which is kind of the origin of Absolute Bane. And this is the one where Alfred was kind of like pontificating as to what would happen if Batman were to confront Bane head on. But we didn't know that till the end.
Yeah.
And that's why we picked this one, because you know, Batman was getting his arms cut off, and he was being turned into his own version of Bane.
Yeah, the final was like a big Bane Batman standing on a building.
And as we were reading this, we were like, what in the world is going on here? And then, you know, we realized, oh, that's what would have happened, but it didn't really happen, but it was so amazing.
I had to explain this scene to some people who were like, did that happen? It's like, no. And there's a distinct like line where you see Alfred say something about like, and then this could, or you know,
something like, but I know you won't do that.
Yeah.
And then, and we were texting each other about this after we read it, like we're trying to rationalize it for ourselves.
Yeah. Well, next up is Doom versus Dormammu, which was from the One World Under Doom.
I believe it was number 4.
Yeah, where you know, Dormammu was like suddenly got an alert. He's like, "Hey, there's some big stuff going up on Earth. I need to go check that out." And Doom basically came at him, you know, now with the Sorcerer Supreme power, being like, hey, Doctor Strange never really used this to the best of its abilities.
That's right.
I'm going to show you really what you can do with this stuff.
Yeah, that was a cool thing. He basically mentioned, you know, Doctor Strange never thought to use these powers this way, or he held himself back, but I'm not going to do that. And he has like magical Wolverine claws and all kinds of stuff.
I think he gets like a giant like Thor hammer or something in his time and like smashes him with it. That was, I mean, that could have been the finale of the series, is just that big fight between those two. And next up is one of my favorites, Battle Beast versus Juggernaut, which was what the entire first arc of Battle Beast was building up to. You know, this promise of this character that may be the one that can defeat Battle Beast, and that's what he wants. He wants somebody to match his power. And of course, we get there, and we haven't seen the last of the Juggernaut character, but
that's right.
Battle Beast again was not put down by it. It gave him a run for his money, but he's willing to do anything, including bite and break off parts of them and use them as weapons.
Right.
And it was a nonstop full issue of Battle Beast versus the Juggernaut.
And then we have Wonder Woman versus Tetracide, and this is from, I believe it was Absolute Wonder Woman number 4, I think. And we had seen her already pull off some amazing feats in the first couple of issues, but then the Tetracide, which is basically the size of a city, comes rising out of the water, and we're thinking, how is Wonder Woman going to deal with this? Oh, with her giant sword.
That she just kind of keeps in her back pocket.
Yeah, cleaving it in twain. And, this is after making the city deaf so that the Tetrasides can't influence them with its magic. So this was amazing and let us know that we were in for a real treat with this Absolute Wonder Woman book, which, we are now a dozen issues past, and it's amazing. And this one is one of my personal favorites, Moon Knight versus Achilles Fairchild in Moon Knight Fist of Khonshu number 5. And this just let me... Well, I mean, I've known that the Jed MacKay Moon Knight run for the last 4 years has been amazing, and this is just another example of this. Moon Knight going up against Achilles Fairchild, who was peddling this drug called glitter. And Moon Knight gave him a run for his money, but there was a reveal at the end that Fairchild is actually an Asgardian.
Oh gosh!
And what can Moon Knight really do against that? But he put up a good fight for sure. And most of this issue was another just knockdown, drag-out fight with amazing art by Devmalia Promanik, and I can't wait to see what comes next for Moon Knight.
And we also have Optimus versus Megatron, which I believe was from Transformers 24, which was the final issue of Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona's run before Robert Kirkman and Dan Moore took on with 25. And this really wraps up the Daniel Warren Johnson run of things that he set up. We didn't see Megatron for a long time. We had Optimus with Megatron's arm and waiting for this first confrontation between the two in this new Energon universe, and it did not disappoint. But we got to give the first Fluxy to someone. And well, actually, we did want to mention that the fan vote for this
is the same as ours.
So
we're in agreement with the viewers.
It's the Bane versus Batman imagined fight. Even though you could also put their final fight in there, where Bane just kept getting bigger and bigger, and like a big old pimple till he popped. But yeah, this was, I think, maybe the we'll be talking about another moment later, but one of the first moments in Absolute Batman that really just went to places the regular Batman series does not go.
That's right. I've never read this type of fight in a Batman comic before. And again, that shock of not knowing, you didn't know it was fake as you're reading it, and you're trying to figure out, what does this mean for the Absolute Batman book going forward?
Because we don't know, this could be what they had planned, because...
Could have been.
We saw in Wonder Woman that, she doesn't have an arm.
Yeah.
And it was like, well, maybe there's something with Batman where he's going to be going this entire book with one arm, or, Bane powers or something we didn't quite know. So our first Fluxy for best fight for 2025, which after looking at it, I'm not sure, was the Wonder Woman versus Tetracide fight, was that 2025?
Oh, I thought, maybe not. Maybe
that one might be...
we may have screwed up on that one.
But that one just...
Well, actually, I think it was wasn't it January?
It might have been.
It may have really super early 2025.
So, Bane, enjoy your little golden Fluxy.
Yeah.
Put it to what's left of your body, just your eyes and your nervous system floating in a tank somewhere.
You can stick it right on the jar you're floating in.
Well, next up we have our favorite events or storylines category, and another really hard one because one, there was a lot. Also, there was a lot of really great ones.
Yeah.
So we're going to kick it off with
One World Under Doom. So this actually just ended. This ran most of the year. in Marvel Comics. Doctor Doom becoming the Sorcerer Supreme and literally taking over the world. But what I liked about this is for the longest time, it didn't seem like it was such a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, everybody got free education and free healthcare, and there were
no one went hungry.
Wars. Nobody was hungry. So for the longest time, it didn't seem like it was such a bad thing. And of course, then the other shoe dropped a little bit later in the event. But
we saw behind the curtain.
Yeah, so this was really cool. Again, this had that great Doom Dormammu fight, and yeah, just the uncertainty of like, are the heroes should the heroes maybe they kind of feel like the bad guys? Like that's what made this one cool for me.
We also have, like we just mentioned, the Abomination story arc, which was the big Bane story arc that went on for quite a few issues and just got more and more intense as it went on. Now that we're about to get into like the Joker story and everything, it just feels like the series is one-upping itself every time. But this was such a giant story, no pun intended. And this was like our first title page.
Right.
And that really should have given us an idea what we're in store for Absolute Batman.
And then we have a DCKO, which we're in the middle of right now, and this has just been a lot of fun. It's very high concept. It's a lot comic booky, sort of silliness, but it gives us what we love from comic books, and it's just pure fun. It doesn't matter that. How did the Heart of Apocalypse get there? We're getting cool fights. Normally, I don't really love hero versus hero fights, but in this one, it's different because they're not fighting because of different disagreements. They're fighting because that's what they have to do to save the universe. There's been some great artwork. All of the tie-ins have been really cool. Tons of action in this, knowing that what it's going to result in 2026. Like, this has everything, and we are loving it.
Next up was if Ultimate Spider-Man ends, which I guess it will at 24. This is probably the peak of that series, which was the Ultimate Kraven story arc with Peter and Harry, where they were in the Savage Land, which turns out is in New York underground with Mole Man. And this was kind of like the most dangerous game with Peter and Harry not in their suits, but still on the run from Kraven, who is hunting them. Peter being the most Spider-Man we've seen, even though he's not wearing the suit, helping Harry who can't move, and just all the craziness that happened there was so much fun, and I think was the high point of this series.
Yeah, absolutely, especially since, we actually haven't gotten a lot of Spider-Man in Ultimate Spider-Man, and we haven't seen him train, and I've never really known, like, is he competent yet? Is he still trying to figure it out? But this story arc, I was like, there it is right there. There's Peter, there's Spider-Man, more of that, please. We also have Imperial. So this was a 4-issue series that had a few one-shots along with it, a few tie-ins along with it. And this kind of reshaped the Marvel Cosmic Universe and how it's structured and who's in charge and that kind of thing. It was a little bit, confusing near the end, but it has had lasting effects. We're seeing it now in Planet She-Hulk, in the new Nova series. They're talking about the new structure, the new hierarchy of power in the cosmic universe. Great artwork in this, the return of the Inhumans, which are always fun.
Yeah, and this is another one like DCKO that, like, even though Imperial is over, we are still kind of dealing with the effects from it, like you said, with the Planet She-Hulk, and still plenty of series yet to come out of it. Like the Exile series that's going to be coming out, and in the previous book that just came out, we've got the Imperial Guardians that's solicited there. So yeah, a lot of stuff is coming out of this, even for being a relatively small series. And
we have the Summer of Superman, which this has just been so much fun. Not really one single event or storyline, but I love the emphasis that DC really put on Superman this year, and a lot of it had to do with the new movie. But we got some amazing Superman stories, both in the main Superman book and Action Comics. We got that, and I flipped through this again last night, the Superman Treasury Edition, which was just like its own self-contained story with gorgeous artwork, tons of action, lots of heroes in it. Like, I just love, and especially since like the beginning of 2023, DC has just really felt like they they wanted to get Superman right, and they have done exactly that. He feels more classic than ever. This is the most classic Superman has felt since maybe John Byrne revitalized him after Crisis on Infinite Earths back in 1986. So yeah, just a great time to be a Superman fan. There's so many good Superman stories.
Yeah, and this once again kind of solidified the idea of if you get Superman right, kind of everything else will move into place. Yeah. But Superman is the character in DC that has to be right and has to be at the forefront because he really kind of everything it lives within his shadow.
Yeah.
Like the bat. And the winner is, and maybe this shouldn't be a surprise, but DCKO has been phenomenal. And I think it's more for this one because everything that's come out so far, there's been no duds. Everything has been good to amazing. And yes, it's not over yet, but even if it stopped right now and all we had was what we had, I would still consider it one of the best.
I would want to know who the winner is, right?
I would like to know who the winner is, but given the quality so far, I can't think of another event that has been this solid.
Yeah, the tie-ins feel like they matter, not that
planned.
Yeah, not that every tie-in has to matter, right? Sometimes it's fun just to say, hey, what's this character doing while all this is going on? But they feel like they all have weight. We have, what's going on in the center of the universe with the tournament, but there's a lot of crazy stuff going on outside the tournament as well that's just as big of a part of this event as the tournament itself, with Earth becoming a new apocalypse and how the heroes are dealing with that. So yeah, just this is just a total package. Plus, I feel like it's a manageable size as well. Yeah, there's a few tie-ins and stuff, but again, it's all fun. It all feels like it matters. None of it feels like a chore.
Yeah.
So it's been.
I'm always excited to pick up the next installment, no matter what book that's in. And this is a book that feels like all the creators are on the same page.
Yeah.
And they each have, their own corner of the world, but it is, addressing what's going on. It's not that, back on Crisis on Infinite Earths, like Batman's going about his day. The sky's red. That's weird. Yeah. Anyways, I'm dealing with what I'm dealing with.
Exactly.
Like, no, this is, if you're on Earth, you're dealing with what's going on Earth. And if
nobody is unaffected by this. Yeah.
So this has been phenomenal. And going into next year, I can't wait to see. We still have the boss fights issue where we're gonna have all the crazy cameos.
It's gonna lead into a whole bunch of new books, which I'm so excited for. Like they're killing it right now.
Yeah, this has been a great one for this year and for next year.
Yeah.
Next up, most shocking moments.
Maybe the most fun category to put together.
Because this is kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
And just a delight.
Yeah. I'll let you start with this.
Okay, so first off is Absolute Hawkman killing Green Arrow. Why this was so shocking. So this was in the Absolute Evil one-shot.
Yep.
And before this came out, they had announced an Absolute Green Arrow miniseries.
Yeah, which I was really excited for.
And we knew that this was going to be the first appearance of Absolute Green Arrow.
That's right.
We didn't know the first time we see him, he was dead. Yeah. So we still don't know about this Absolute Green Arrow miniseries coming up. But this was, for one, our first introduction to Absolute Hawkman, who is pretty horrifying. He's like this mummy version, like really mixing the Egyptian lore with the Thanagarian war.
And we're going to see him coming up in Absolute Superman too, in maybe another month or two.
Yeah, this was just crazy because we knew that the Absolute Evil one-shot, like, oh, this is going to have some really cool stuff in it. But I don't think we were prepared for just the, like, turning things on its head like this was.
Yeah, I get we asked a lot, like, what character would you want in the Absolute Universe? And my answer was always Absolute Green Arrow. And then they announced that miniseries, and I said, yes, they gave me what I wanted. And then we saw him in this. I said, yes, he's awesome. And then I saw this page, and I said, no, you killed him already.
Yeah, but I still think there's way more story there.
Oh, for sure. Well, and then we have Absolute Joker, and just... I guess it's not necessarily one single moment that's shocking, but his entire backstory in Absolute Batman number 15, and the fact that we don't quite know what is he or what's his true backstory. It's a little bit ambiguous, and I like it that way. I kind of hope we never know for sure.
The truth is somewhere between those multiple stories that Alfred
That's right.
told.
Yeah, has he really been around for a couple hundred years, or is that a little bit fantastical? I do think that this monstrous form is real, right?
Yeah,
so that's real, and I can't wait to see that play out. But yeah, just like the ambiguity and also the how scary he is. Scott Snyder himself said that Absolute Bane is here, and Batman's already having trouble with that. Absolute Joker's way up here in terms of scariness and ferocity and tactical planning and all kinds of stuff. So this was a very nice surprise just to see this finally come about.
Yep. Well, next up we have Absolute Justice League. There's a lot of absolutes in here, but it is a universe of surprises.
That's right.
And this was a big one at the end of Absolute Evil when we learned, we've been speculating, okay, so eventually Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, Green Lantern, all of them will come together to form an Absolute Justice League.
Yeah.
We didn't know that the Absolute Justice League in this universe was maybe the villains all coming together to create a because justice is not, it's not, there's no grace or forgiveness in justice.
Right.
And that's what they're playing off of, is we are absolutely laying down what needs to be done. And it made sense in this universe.
Yeah, and this kind of follows, and you can see here, it's too small to read, but this kind of follows along with Joker's speech in this, talking about how the universe seems to favor them, seems to favor the not so virtuous, the dishonest, that kind of thing. And that to me, that solidifies everything, because yes, I mean, the entire universe is made of dark side energy. It's been explained to us since the beginning. Scott Snyder talked a lot about this, about the heroes are the underdogs, which is weird because they seem to win all their fights, but no, I mean, really, they win a fight here and there, but really the universe itself is literally stacked against them, and the Justice League in this universe isn't what we thought it was going to be.
Yep.
And we do have the surprise first appearance of Logo, which is an amalgamation of Lobo and Logan, and this popped up in the Deadpool Batman crossover one shot. They had announced all the other stories that were going to be in that, but then the last couple of pages was the return of Amalgam and the return of a crossover, not a crossover, but a combination of Marvel and DC characters. It's a new character. He wasn't part of the '90s Amalgam books. I thought maybe he would be a constant in all of the crossovers. He wasn't in the Batman Deadpool, and it doesn't sound like he'll be in the Superman Spider-Man ones, but maybe he'll pop up again, or maybe this was just a one-time thing. But regardless, it was a total surprise. Nobody knew this was coming. Fantastic artwork. He looked so cool. I think Ryan Stegman was the artist on this. This was a really pleasant surprise. One that made me I was like, oh, I can't wait to see him again. I hope we do.
Yeah, and this gave me a little hope that maybe we'll see some Amalgam in the future.
Yeah.
Well, next up, I put this one on here because we saw some of the stuff leading up to Absolute Green Lantern and the characters there, and we knew it'd be about Joe Mullen, but Hal Jordan was also part of and everything. But then we saw this completely Dragon Ball universe version of Abin Sur, who is just a freaky four-arm version of Majin Buu.
That's right.
And he is so cool. This is the character I want to know the most about in the Absolute Green Lantern book. I thought he was such a cool, not really, he was kind of an antagonist at first, but maybe there's more to it, and we're still learning more and more about this character. But I just thought the surprise of seeing what he looks like being so wildly different than his main universe counterpart, just the kind of just bald pink skin, normal looking alien. Then we got this, and that was just awesome.
Yeah, is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? We had no idea.
Yep.
Well, then we have the death of Harry Osborn in the pages of Ultimate Spider-Man number 14, or the death we thought at the time.
Yeah.
And we talked just a minute ago about how this two-part Kraven story arc was amazing, and a lot of it is because of this right here, because, it's Ultimate Spider-Man, right? But honestly, if you look at it, it's more of a Harry and Gwen series, I think. We get way more of them than we do Peter and Spider-Man. But then here, we thought, oh my gosh, nobody is safe now. This Harry Osborn is one of the two main characters of this book, and he's gone now. This tells us kind of like what we said about Absolute. You never know what's going to happen. It's these series of surprises, and of course, it turned out later that it was And you actually called that one too.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not. You actually said, well, that could have been a Mysterio thing. And I even said, I'm not so sure. I don't think they would do that. And it turns out it was. But at the time, we had no idea. We turned this page. Peter Craven aimed a gun at Peter, and he got shot through the side. And we thought that was pretty big. You turn the page, and there's Harry lying dead on the ground. That was really shocking because again, he was supposed to be the main character or one of the main characters. And this telling me like, oh, nobody's safe.
Yeah. This was definitely like for the moment before the next issue came out, the most shocking moment of the Ultimate Universe. Next up is one that we're still kind of investigating and getting into, the surprise end of the Ultimate Universe. This is a little in-universe and outside of universe, bit of news is that the Ultimate Universe, the kind of top-selling thing for Marvel, was announced that it is ending after Ultimate Endgame. Now, we still have our speculations about to what extent is there any threads that are going to be left after that that are going to feed into something else? Is there going to be another Ultimate Universe? Is there going to be whatever? We don't know, but it definitely came as a shock. The Ultimate Endgame was allegedly the end of the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, because we thought we had the whole thing pegged. Ultimate Endgame, a big fight with the Maker, they're going to defeat him, and then the universe kind of becomes not, about sort of the bad guys running things, but how do the heroes, now that they've defeated those bad guys, how do they fix the world like they've been wanting to? And I thought that was going to be a whole new status quo for this universe, was them fixing, undoing what the Maker did, or maybe they just end it cold turkey and we just never see that. So I'm still skeptical, even though Marvel is really trying to drive it into our heads that it's ending, but Marvel also lies to the readers a lot, so I'm still skeptical about this one.
I still think Doc Ock is Spider-Man and Peter's never coming back to life.
Right. Yeah. All right.
I'm still holding on to that Superior Spider-Man.
Well, go ahead. You like this one.
This one was just really fun. I have all new Venom in here a couple of times in different forms because I thought this series is a lot of fun from the beginning of the series which started in 2024 about who is this new Venom. We are getting clues. We had our kind of rogues gallery of who might be behind it, but it got a little leaked right before because there was a variant cover where it was Venom unmasked, but there was ones for each of the characters that we thought it could be, but then one of them was Mary Jane, who hadn't been a contender so far. And then suddenly we find out, yes, Mary Jane is revealed to be Venom. And it's still going. It's still a thing.
She's still Venom, yeah.
I think, at first I was like, I don't know if I want this to be forever. I still don't want it to be forever, but it has made a very interesting and compelling story. And I'm still really excited about the Peter coming back to Earth and talking with Mary Jane about this and seeing that needs to be a whole issue of them.
We're going to see that, I think, in February, I believe.
Peter coming to terms with what Mary Jane has been up to, and I think this is awesome. I thought the reveal was awesome, and I think this is still a really fun series. Fantastic art. Carlos Gomez, Paco Medina has been on it for a little bit. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, when this was first a thing and Marvel said it's going to be one of these four characters, I instantly knew it wasn't going to be one of those four because again, Marvel lies all the time. So I knew it wasn't going to be one of those four, but it ended up being Mary Jane before the cover was revealed. But before that, I don't know that I ever would have guessed Mary Jane.
No.
And I wasn't sure, like you, I wasn't sure what I thought about it at the time, but now it's been pretty fun. Yeah, just like you, I don't want it to be forever.
Yeah.
But it's fun. Well, I'm having a good time while it lasts. But if it were to end next issue, I'd be okay with that too. But I'm enjoying it for the time being.
Yeah, this is another series that's kind of like Black Cat that feels like a Spider-Man book more than Amazing Spider-Man feels like a Spider-Man book.
Yeah.
Venom is fighting Doc Ock and fighting all these regular Spider-Man villains.
Madam Mask.
Swinging through the city. It's been really cool. So, who is the winner here? Well, this may come as a surprise, but Logo.
Yeah.
We thought Logo was such a fun surprise. Quickly went from not knowing this existed to pretty much the best part of that whole issue. And just kind of what this means, again, of Marvel and DC working together. We got a new amalgam character. Ryan Stegman's amazing art on this. This was just overall kind of what comics are about. This was a fun surprise.
Yeah, and this, this served me some humble pie because, we get asked all the time, or we used to get asked all the time, do you think we'll ever have a Marvel DC crossover again? And I said with my full chest numerous times, Marvel and DC will never work together again. And then we got Batman, Deadpool, and I said, okay, well, that's very cool. I was wrong. And then we would get, do you think we'll ever get Amalgam again? And I said with my full chest, we will never get that again. And then we get this. So Logo taught me to never say never about anything in the world of comic books.
Logo taught us a lot of lessons.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's why, I would have seen all of these coming before I would have seen that, because I just never thought we were going to get anything Amalgam ever again.
I love his claws, but they're the chains.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know how that works, but I like it.
Yeah.
Well, next up is our favorite comic moments.
This was pretty fun,
Not
too.
shocking moments, but just favorite moments, either feel good or exciting or whatever. And we're going to kick it off with Aquaman uses his new powers to land a plane. Yep. This was in Aquaman number 1.
Number 1, which I think was on January 1st, so this barely made it.
But, Aquaman, I could make numerous lists about how much I love it. Jeremy Adams, John Timms on here has been such a treat. And now Aquaman, after the Absolute Power event, has Mara's aquakinesis powers. And we got to see him use those out in a big way right at the beginning. A great way to start a series is Aquaman landing this plane. And not only him landing the plane, but the pilot and stuff, when they were like, oh no, we're going down. And he's like, oh, don't worry about it. Why? Yeah. And then you see Aquaman that hey, people take Aquaman serious and they know that he, no matter what, he will save them. I just love that.
Yeah, this gave me vibes of Jeff Johns' Aquaman from the New 52, where in the first issue of a new Aquaman series, Aquaman does something awesome, and that kind of lets you know, oh, we are in for a treat with this series. That one, he did some awesome stuff in the Jeff Johns run, and then now with this, it's like, oh, we're gonna get some stuff from Aquaman we've never seen before, and we've gotten that every issue so far. Well, next we have Bruce Wayne escaping the Ark M facility, and this was in Absolute Batman. I think it was number 9, I believe. And this one was, Bruce Wayne got captured and taken to the Ark M facility, and the entire issue, or most of the issue, was him trying to escape in crazy ways numerous times. And no matter how extreme extreme the length was that he went to, it still didn't work.
Yeah.
You're like, oh gosh, that, he uses his stomach acid to melt a guy's face, as you can see there. He obviously escaped. No, he did all kinds of things to his body to get out, and it still didn't work until the end. But when they kind of sort of let him out, I guess. But most of this was Bruce Wayne, not Batman. He wasn't using gadgets and his utility belt. He made his own organic gadgets. Yeah, he was doing things to his body. I didn't remember. They said it was dozens of times that he tried to escape. They kept him there for such a long time, and he never broke his willpower, his resilience. And this showed me things that I've never seen someone of the caliber of Batman do before.
Yeah. Yeah, when we were talking about this before, I was saying that this is the most Batman of Batman things, is the ultimate resourcefulness. That constant who would win, Batman, whatever, and Batman didn't have prep time. Batman didn't have prep time here, and he still found crazy ways of getting out of this without his gadgets.
He's got stomach acid. That's all you need for most.
And this is one of those things where it kind of proves he's insane. Yeah. Batman is crazy. Yeah. He's super smart, all of that. But someone to go to this length, there's a reason why only Bruce Wayne can be this version of Batman. Yeah, you can tell this
I'll talk about this one. This is Shadowfall taking down an entire field of bad guys in one shot. So this is from New Gods number 4. Guys, I don't even really know who Shadowfall is. I've not read that far back in New Gods, or I don't know when she first showed up. But, we love the New Gods series. It made me want to go back and consume as much New Gods content as I can. The artwork by Evan Cagle, the epicness of the story. And in number 4, I don't remember their name, the name of this horde of bad guys, but they showed up to take on the the new gods, and Shadowfall takes care of most of them with one shot, and the artwork is gorgeous. Her queuing up this mystical energy bow, shooting it in the sky, and it rains down on everybody. There's another feat later in this issue where she takes down an entire ship with one giant shot. I mean, it's
her techno bow comes together and how it's constructed and all of that. Immediately went from who's this character to I want to see way more of this character.
This had me Googling Shadowfall new gods and trying to figure out all of her appearances. I know a lot of you out there probably know about her, but I just haven't read that much new gods before this. But yeah, I definitely want to. I went down a rabbit hole trying to figure all this out, and I'm definitely going to go back and read some more.
Yeah, and props to this mini series or maxi series, whatever we're going to call it, because this has been phenomenal and has been full of moments like this. Well, next up, MJ breaks up with Paul. What more can you say? This was just the highlight of the year, as the thing that we've been wanting for so long. It finally happened in this glorious moment.
We're halfway there. Everybody wants MJ and Peter back together, and so do we. But before that could happen, something had to be done about MJ and Paul's relationship. Well, we're there now, so we're halfway. We're halfway to the finish line, and hopefully this does result in MJ and Peter getting back together. But nobody likes Paul. It's
a fun joke we're all in on.
Yeah, we're all in. Yeah, we're all in on the same joke. Paul is why is he there? And as long as they were together, we knew we were never going to see anything, any progression from Mary Jane. And so, it's a fun, sort of cheeky thing to laugh about. But it does, now that Paul's gone, it really does, I feel help move her story forward a little bit. We don't know where she'll end up, but the fact that this happened, it's just something we all wanted, and we finally got it.
It was more exciting than anything else I could think of when we turned the page, and it was I like how it looks like a marriage proposal page, but it's them breaking up.
Even Carlos Gomez on Instagram jokes about it. He knows he's on the same page. He's in on the joke with us, which is great. And then we have all of the craziness in Absolute Martian Manhunter, because we couldn't narrow it down to just one thing. Every issue of Absolute Martian Manhunter, you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what you're in for. You don't know what crazy visuals you're going to see. So we actually took this from the first issue, because this is kind of where it all started with okay, this is something special with Javier Rodriguez's artwork. And does he do the colors too?
I don't remember if he does. I think he does the colors too. It'd be hard to do this and not do both.
Yeah, but this just kind of let us know that this is a comic, especially a DC comic with one of its main characters, Martian Manhunter, that's literally unlike anything we've ever read before. There's been so many crazy moments, so much. The visual style of this book is just as important as the story itself. So yeah, just take your pick of any of the crazy moments from Absolute Martian Manhunter. But they're some of the best ones of the year.
Well, and the Fluxy goes to, how could it not? MJ breaks up with Paul. Yeah. You knew it. We knew it. Everybody knew it. This was just great. And like you said, this is a step to getting Peter and MJ back together.
Hopefully.
Hopefully. But also just this fun story arc that we've had of hating when they're together and being excited when something bad happens to Paul. He's just
it's gotten to where we had to issue Paul warnings. We want to give you a Paul warning. This issue does contain 4 pages of Paul. So I feel in Star Wars when Alderaan was destroyed and Obi-Wan said it's 1,000 voices were suddenly silenced.
Yeah.
This is the opposite, where I could hear the collective cheers of everybody as they were reading this. So we couldn't not pick this one. Like I said, it's a little bit more cheeky, but we loved it. Loved it.
It's another reason why this has been such a fun series. Yeah. Well, next up we have Best Comic Gimmick. And gimmick is used as a loving term. This is like the 90s had their gimmicks. We've got them now. Starting off with blind bags. And we use Battle Beast because Battle Beast has still been the best use of it.
That's right.
And a lot of people have done it. It didn't take any time at all for everyone else to jump on the bandwagon of blind bags. But Battle Beast did it in a way where it had, exclusives. It was the same price as the A cover, so there was no loss in getting this. Even if you got the A cover in it, you still got the book. But you could also get issue number 2. You could get Marvel Team Up with Spider-Man and Invincible reprint. First appearance of Battle Beast and Invincible number 19. Invincible number 1. Plus all the covers. No one was, at least no one at our store was upset with what they got. And they just wanted more. This has been so great. And then everything since then has not done as well. It's been,
because I feel like everything else is just all about, oh, what cover did you get? But this one is like, what book did you get?
Yeah.
You might not have even gotten Battle Beast number 1 out of it.
Yeah, so this was so much fun. And again, Battle Beast did it best of all. But there were still more gimmicks.
Yep. Like Giant Comics. So this was the year that a lot of or not a lot, but several comics found themselves having the regular edition and also the Treasury edition. Now we put Batman number 158, which is Hush 2 Part 1. We put it up there because I want to say maybe that was one of the first of the year that did
And it was the biggest. It was the 11 by 17 one, whereas Skinbreaker did a little bit bigger.
Was it even bigger than this one?
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was like the Treasury size.
Yeah, it was a Treasury size. This was bigger than the Treasury size.
Yeah, but so if you like great comic book art, Hush 2, the story is questionable, but the artwork from Jim Lee is still great. So being able to see that in an oversized format, we have them laid out on the counter here because we don't have bags for them. And every time I see one, I have to at least flip through it, even though I've already read it because I want to see the artwork. Skinbreaker, David Finch. The fact that he drew that entire book double sized and then shrunk it down. Well, now you can see it in the size that he drew it in, and it's gorgeous. I feel like we're missing. I feel like there was another one that had a big one.
I think there was another one too.
But yeah, so maybe we'll see more of these. I know not a lot of some people don't like the oversized formats because
where do you put it?
Bags and boards. Where do you put them? That kind of thing. But I like having a big book and seeing giant artwork. Plus, I have old man eyes, so it's easier to read. So, yeah, really cool.
Well, next up we have the Ice Cream Man cards. This is the only person who has done this, to my knowledge, ever, but only one this year. But what a cool gimmick where an issue of Ice Cream Man was told in 52 cards, where you pull them out of the deck and you don't shuffle them up or anything, but you play them one by one. And it tells a story.
Yep.
And even like the way that someone will mention that someone handed somebody a business card. The next card you play is that business card.
So it's a little bit helps with the immersion.
Yeah, and there was just like really fun homages to other like card games in here and like their special attacks and all of that. So yeah, it wasn't like a card game, but it was such a interesting way of bringing you a story. And I feel like Ice Cream Man has done that for many years now, but still is finding these new and innovative ways of doing it.
Yep. And next we have the Absolute Martian Manhunter see-through page. That was in issue number 1, and this is something that we've never really seen before
issue number 7.
And number 7, that's right, where you one page there's a lot of white on the page, but then I don't know, you hold it up to the light and you can sort of see through, and the front and the back of the page comes through to give you a complete picture. And yeah, so just having this was really cool. And then again in number 7, I love digital comics, but this is a good argument for physical comics because they can do more.
Yeah.
Or at least they can tell stories in different ways. This does not work digitally at all.
Yeah, I do really like that because this proves why comics is a great physical format, and that you can do different and unique things with it. Maybe some that people haven't even thought about before.
Yep.
But our Fluxy goes to the Ice Cream Man cards.
That's right. This was we had to go with this one because this is the most unique thing we've ever seen from a comic book, and I feel like only Ice Cream Man could pull this off. Again, with the immersion, you get a full story, and it's still on the same level that Ice Cream Man normally. They don't cut any corners for this. You still get I don't want to say creepy is not quite the right word, but after you read it, you're like, oh my gosh, that was still like made me feel something. Yeah. But it's on a deck of cards, so yeah, this is, and I don't know that we'll ever see this again. Plus the fact that this story is never going to be reprinted.
It
They're never going to
be collected.
Can't be collected. They're never going to issue this deck of cards again. This is a one-time thing. It was really special, and they absolutely nailed it.
Yeah. Well, next up, we're getting to some of our big categories, our favorite non-Marvel / DC comics. You could call them indie comics, but, this is just everything that's not one of the big two. We're going to start off with Invincible Universe Battle Beast, which was a huge reveal, a huge return to the Invincible Universe. Also, just the way that they're doing, like 7 issues and taking a big break, so we don't get interrupted art or story. We're getting the same creative team.
I'm in favor of that. If more publishers and stories want to do that, if you need to take a break so that you can keep that same creative team, do that. Because it's there's plenty of other stuff to read, and then when the book comes back, it feels just like it did when you left off.
Yeah, and just this book has been so fun. It's exactly what it's meant to be, which is an over-the-top action, gory, goofy sci-fi fantasy adventure. And Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley nailed the tone once again, proving why they are some of the best in the business at what they do.
Well, next we have Exquisite Corpses from James Tynion and Michael Walsh. And what a cool premise. I mean, this is basically a battle royale, of various killers. But it's in a small town, and nobody in that town is safe. They cut the town off from everybody. The people in the town don't know what's going on. Some know that, they don't know that there's these killers in there, and they could wind up, one of the victims as well. But it kind of like DCKO, it's kind of sort of like a tournament where one character gets taken out, and, we're like 7 or 8 issues in now, and there's only a handful of killers left. What is the end going to be like? And, what's that going to bring at the end? So a really cool series. I don't know that we've seen anything quite like it before, but or at least I haven't done this well anyway. Yeah. So it's been a really fun read.
And they got the collector cards and the card game coming out next year, so that will be really cool to see as well. And next up, Assorted Crisis event. This is has been a huge hit.
Yeah.
And this is one where in the YouTube polls that I was doing, so many people in the comments added in Assorted Crisis event as their favorite non-Marvel DC book of the year, and kind of falls in the same line as like Ice Cream Man and that kind of stuff. Right. One and done stories, but set in this bizarre world, and you never know what you're going to get with an issue.
That's right. You never know what you're going to get, because in this story, in this world, time and space have basically collapsed in on itself. And you might see cavemen walking down one city block and then flying cars on the next block. People phase in and out of reality. And every issue follows a different character. It's not one overarching story, so that lends to all kinds of stories. The issues themselves are very creative. They're not just like regular comics. There's one where every page was a loop.
Yeah.
And just so the creativity that goes into this, Dennis Camp is killing it on this book, as he was all of his other books. So yeah, this one's pretty special.
Next up is Bug Wars, one of my favorite books of the year. This by Jason Aaron and Mahmoud Asrar has been such a awesome thing. We just talked about the one-shot that's coming out on our Comics to Pre-Order in a Flash video that's set between Volume 1 and Volume 2 that's going to be coming out next year. So this world is continuing, and just the mix of kind of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with Conan,
right?
But like, the maturity level of Conan, amazing art, just such a interesting world where they'll just mention a different kind of mite somewhere else. The ones that are like bees, or the ones that are like maggots or whatever. And you're like, oh, I want a whole story just about their world. It was such a cool world building story, and I can't wait to get more of it coming up. With the spiders, the weird spiders, or spiders of weird wood, or whatever.
Weird world, I think. Weird wood.
Yeah. The one shot, and then when we move on to Volume 2, I hope this keeps going, because I think this could be really epic.
Weird Web, or is it Word Web? WYRD Web. Weird Web.
I think it's Weird Web.
Yeah. And then one of my favorites, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring. So this is Volume 2 of the Beneath the Trees saga. We have our main character, Sam, here. This is set actually in the 90s, and, she the sister of her very first victim, or at least the first victim that we saw, comes to Woodbrook looking for her brother, and Sam actually kind of gets a thrill out of this because she knows that there's somebody looking for her, and she knows that she can be right next to that character, and they don't have any idea that it was her that did it. We learn kind of how. We see Sam in her early days when she was younger, and we see that she's a little bit more messed up there than we originally thought from the first volume. So I just continue to love this series. The cutest characters, anthropomorphic animal characters that you've ever seen until they get cut up in pieces. And so yeah, this definitely is not for kids, but Patrick Horvath just killing it on the first volume, and in this one, I hope that, and we're gonna see her in the DCKO, the boss fight book. I don't really know what she's gonna do, but she might cut a hand off a Joker. Who knows?
Yeah.
But this has been so much fun.
And our Fluxy goes to, and this was unanimous between us and the viewers when we put up the favorite book on our YouTube. It is Battle Beast. And I think this just speaks to the overall quality, excitement, everything of Battle Beast. From the blind bag at the start, but also the story inside of it. Each issue, crazy characters, over the top action, and fun. That's just,
yes.
I mean, a lot of these winners and everything come down to what did we have the most fun with.
That's right.
And Battle Beast continues to be one of the most fun non-Marvel DC books on the shelves.
Yeah, Ryan Ottley's artwork he has, I didn't think he could get any better, and he is doing the best work of his career, I think, in this. It looks so good, action-packed. It's violent. I love Battle Beast's character because he's so simple.
Yeah.
He just wants to find somebody to fight that can kill him. That's it. Like it doesn't have to be any more complicated than that. So much fun.
Yeah, and building up the the side characters is really cool. And knowing what we're going to be getting in the second volume is making me even more excited for this one next year. So look forward on our best of list next year. Well, now we've got our favorite Marvel book. This is a big one. Marvel, of course, had a bunch of series come out this year, and
we're going to start with Chip Zdarsky's Captain America. I love Captain America. He's my number 3 favorite Marvel hero. It has been a little while since I've had a Captain America book, a true, like a solo Captain America book that I've really, really loved. And then finally we get it here from Chip Zdarsky, who brought us, in my opinion, the second best run of Daredevil we've ever had. He has some great indie books like Public Domain. I enjoyed his run on Batman, and now he's sort of revitalizing Captain America, refreshing his origin just a little bit, giving us a story arc set 2 weeks after he's unfrozen. We know that this is going to, this series, not necessarily this story arc, but the series is going to lead into the Armageddon storyline. So yeah, a nice, just a good, ground level Steve Rogers Captain America book. I love this one.
Yeah, I think Captain America may be one of the hardest characters to write. I just think, he comes with so much Marvel history.
Yeah.
And, he is that kind of like a little bit of a Superman Boy Scout.
Right.
How do you write all that? And Chip Zdarsky has proven that he knows exactly how to write him, and it has been awesome so far, and only just getting started.
Right.
Next up, we have Fantastic Four. This has been so good. We knew we were in for a treat. One, because it was the same writer, Ryan North, coming from the previous run, coming into this one, but now bring on Humberto Ramos onto art. And it has continued from the previous run, but also started here, both equally awesome.
So I take this more like not just talking about the current run, but the one before it, still from Ryan North. I mean, like this whole year of Fantastic Four books has been great.
Yeah, this has been so much fun. Again, like this kind of feels like it's its own separate world where it's not tied in with too much stuff.
Yeah.
Even when it does, you can still read those books, those single issues, and get a full story. Even though they've had a couple of like multiple issue stories, like the first one in this, they just all feel unique. They are family focused, science adventure focused. Just such a good series. And I'm so glad that Fantastic Four is such a good series because it is such an important part of Marvel. That Fantastic Four be good. Just like we talked about in DC, where Superman, at Marvel, you need Spider-Man, you need Captain America, you need Fantastic Four, all to be really solid books, and Fantastic Four is bringing that right now.
Well, we can't not mention Ultimate Spider-Man. I mean, this has been some of the best Spider-Man that we've had in years. And a different Spider-Man than we've ever seen. A middle-aged Peter Parker, married with 2 kids, not becoming Spider-Man until he's older. And in this world that is kind of like the Absolute Universe, kind of rigged against him a little bit because the maker shaped it in his own image. Like we talked about a minute ago with the supposed death of Harry Osborn, you never quite know what you're going to get. So I'm curious to see how it's all going to wrap up. We only have like 4 more issues left, but this has been some great Spider-Man stories for sure.
Yeah, I hope we haven't seen the end of this feel of Spider-Man, because this, whether it's this Ultimate Spider-Man or whatever, has felt so cool, so unique. I guess also just having that older Spider-Man who is more established in his life. I hope we get that, whether it's like a book like Renew Your Vows or this character continues somewhere. I hope we get more of that. And next up, All New Venom. This is a book that did start last year, but felt like really got going this year as we got into the who is this new Venom. And then, of course, we had this issue right here where Venom was revealed to be Mary Jane. But the story, we kind of figured, okay, well, it'll be fun through the mystery. And then after that, it'll be, it might fall off. But no, that was just kind of kickstarting the story. And it's been so fun so far with... I think a big part of it is Carlos Gomez's art for me. Yeah. Just some of the crazy stuff, the Venom, like where his head gets inflated and all these crazy visuals you see. And Mary Jane is one of my favorite Marvel characters, and getting such a focus on her. And kind of like what would it be like if she was the hero, has been such a cool book to see.
Yeah, definitely. And then we have Incredible Hulk. So this is one where we added this because we know that there are lots of fans of this run out there, which is now over. Now we're in the Infernal Hulk. But I read the first 10 issues or so of this, plus issue number 25, the Hulk versus Thor issue. And then I have read the first couple issues of Infernal Hulk. Made me want to go back and read this. But we know there's a lot of fans of this one, and everything from Immortal Hulk to Incredible Hulk. They're telling a pretty epic story. Philip Kennedy Johnson, he's a fantastic writer. He's now exclusive with Marvel. He's going to do some big things in 2026. So we wanted to put this on the list because we knew that it's a big one, and I definitely am going to go back and check this out.
Yeah. Well, and our Fluxy goes to...
And this is... Oh, yeah. So we differed. Our choice here was different from the audience choice.
Yeah, we kind of came to a mutual agreement about what our favorite books were, but we'll say that the viewer vote went to Ultimate Spider-Man for best book, and we went a little different direction, and we said Fantastic Four. And I think it's for all the reasons we mentioned, that it is fun, it is accessible, it is, Humberto Ramos's art is great. It feels like classic Fantastic Four stories.
Every issue feels like a one and done story. You can, not every single issue, but a lot of them feels like a one and done story. You can just pick up and read it. It's a little bit less superhero-y, more science family adventures. Great artwork. I love the scenarios they find themselves in. This is the one that Marvel has to get right, and they did. And it's nice because there was a time about 10 years ago when Marvel was kind of brushing Fantastic Four under the rug simply because of movie silliness, and now Fantastic Four is one of Marvel's best books, or we think Marvel's best book. It's nice to have finally come full circle on that.
Yeah, this has been such a good series, and I'm so excited about the current story arc we're in, the Invincible Woman story that just got started, and I can't wait to see where that goes and where Fantastic Four go in the new year. Next up is favorite DC, and arguably this is maybe the hardest one because DC, I felt like, from the All-In special last year into all of the awesome stuff they've done this year, has had some of the best books on comic shelves in years. It may feel like we lean a little heavier DC on some of our shows, but it's because the books they're putting out are so good. no, we don't love all of them, but the ones that they are getting right, they're getting so right that it's just so refreshing. So we're gonna start off with Absolute Batman, of course. And again, this one did not start in 2025, but it has only built up steam as it went on. Like you see here, the Absolute Batman Annual again was a huge issue that sold out everywhere. It's going back for another printing. The like we talked about before, the Bane story arc was huge.
The Joker one shot was amazing.
Yeah, it feels like I mean, this is a book we sell out of every issue, every printing, everything we get of this one, we are selling out over and over, and that's not because of necessarily speculation or any other element other than people are loving the story, loving the character, and want to get more of it.
And it's still bringing new readers in. I mean, there are still customers coming in saying, "Hey, I heard about Absolute Batman. Can you show me where it is?" I mean, it's still, that's no joke that people are still coming
Literally in. Literally today that happened where someone came in and they said, is this all the Absolute Batman you had? And I was like, yeah, we sold out. We've sell out of every issue. And they're like, oh, I was lucky enough to get the first issue, but then I was gone for a little bit, and now I'm trying to get all of them, and I can't find them anywhere. And it's like, yeah, I mean, because they want to read it, not because they're like, it's going to go up in value one day. It's like, doesn't matter about anything like that. It matters how exciting each and every issue of this book is.
Well, and that's, following along with that, we have the ongoing Batman series, which is only 4 issues in. Number 5 does come out next week. Of course, that's in 2026. We've already read that. It's awesome.
Yeah.
But this is from Matt Fraction and Jorge Jimenez. And this is kind of almost like what DC did with Superman in 2023. This feels like a return to classic Batman. Yeah. And not just because he has the blue and the gray suit again, but this feels like a breath of fresh air for Batman. For years now, he's felt sort of a little bit too dark, like he has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Yeah. He's constantly fighting with his family and things like that, but no longer. In this ongoing series, he's just a little bit lighter. He cracks a fun one-liner in issue number 2. Just kind of the shot in the arm that mainline Batman needed. Not that it was ever bad, but this is just a version of Batman that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
I get excited to read every issue of this as well. The first couple issues kind of felt like one and dones where you could read those however you wanted to. And now we're starting to get into a little bit bigger of a story. But yeah, this just feels like a really fun, classic Batman book.
Yeah, and like you said, we've already read issue 6 that comes out next year. But it is so good. Yeah. Probably the best issue of the series so far. So, can't include that necessarily in this, but it is part of the same one, and you're going to love it. Yep. And next up is Absolute Martian Manhunter. And this is kind of it's in here because of how much this surprised people. I know a lot of people going into it were like very curious about it because they've seen stuff about it. They've seen the art and they're like, I want to check it out. But they picked it up and it delivered on that craziness. That this has people who have never read a book with Martian Manhunter in it, who aren't big into superheroes, aren't into stuff traditionally that would be a Martian Manhunter title, are so excited about this book. This is the absolute book that is the most distant from its its counterpart in the main universe, but still shows that these characters work in all these different forms. And another one that, we'll be wrapping up this year, but I can't wait to see what is the future of Absolute Martian Manhunter and of him in this world. It's been so cool.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get.
No.
It's a very unique book, and those are always really fun. But we also have Absolute Wonder Woman as well. And this gives us a Wonder Woman that we've never really seen before either. And this is another one where we don't really quite know what we're going to get from issue to issue. What elements are they going to bring in? What situations is she going to find herself into? How does her upbringing and her being a magic user, change how she would maybe handle a situation? She's got a big sword, which she doesn't use that much, but she still has that compassion. but she handles things differently than mainline Wonder Woman does. A little bit more based in mythology, and she gets involved in that kind of stuff. So just a great Wonder Woman title.
Yeah, and from a store perspective, this is another book that's brought in a lot of non-traditional superhero comic readers.
Yep.
This has really spoken to a wide variety of readers, and they've really kind of adopted this book as their own.
Yep.
And so I think that is always awesome when a book can welcome in a crowd that isn't a usual superhero or Wonder Woman or whatever. This one is very unique in that way as well.
And then, of course, there's Superman.
And Superman.
Yeah, you got to have Superman, right? And this is the mainline Superman book. This didn't start this year, but it has, had a great year. Like we said before, you got to get Superman right, and before you can do anything else. And DC has gotten Superman right. This is some of the best stories, amazing artwork. There's always big action. There's always huge stakes. Some of my favorite moments from this series are the Superman and Lois moments.
Yeah.
Like this over the last couple of years, I have become a huge Lois Lane fan. Not that I wasn't originally, but like I have found a new love for her because of this run. I love their relationship. And yeah, just like how important this book is to the overall DC universe. We have Superman Unlimited, which is basically just like a Superman book. But if you want Superman, how he affects the larger DC universe, this is the book to get. Just like with Fantastic Four, I mean, this is the kind of the flagship, and DC has nailed this for going on almost 3 years now.
Yeah, this has been phenomenal. Every story arc has been exciting and new. The stuff going on even now where it's tied in with DCKO has been so cool. The last issue we got was the KO tie-in with Lex Luthor versus the Demon, which was great. This has just been so good. But we got to give an award to one of them.
And this is we agreed with the audience on this one.
And no surprise there. It is Absolute Batman, which again did not start this year, but had the best year of probably any book on the shelves.
Yeah.
I mean, the reports came out about how well the Absolute Universe is doing and how much of that is Absolute Batman. This is the book that pretty much everyone's reading, or the majority of people. If you like Batman, if you like superheroes, if you like, whatever, you're probably reading this book. This is definitely our top selling book. And like I said, for good reason. This is not because there's 1,000 covers for each issue. It's not for any outside reason other than story, art, writing, all of that is why this is such a phenomenal book.
I do want to say that I had to think about this a little bit because I could make an argument for Superman.
Yeah.
And I love the mainline Superman book. And so this, while we do agree on this and Absolute Batman is very deserving of this, it wasn't an automatic for me though.
Yeah.
I did have to think, I don't know, man. I really, really like Superman a lot. So I would say just narrowly behind this is the mainline Superman, but Absolute Batman, that's the one that I read first every time it comes out. So it's amazing.
Yeah, and there's so many others that we could make a case for. Like I love Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
Like you said, Superman.
Yeah, Batman and Robin is one of my favorites. So yeah, like you said at the beginning of this segment, it's tough because DC is just firing on all cylinders. And it's not like, oh, we have to go find one that's good. It's like, no, we have to pick the best one out of a group of books that any of them could be the best.
Yeah, and it didn't start this year, but it ended was the Question All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah.
All of the all-in books have been great. So yeah, this was hard, but the one that kind of on all fronts, from excitement to not knowing what's going to happen next, Superman is I would say just as good and quality wise, writing, all of that. But Absolute Batman has the edge of I don't know what I'm going to see next.
Yeah.
And that's pretty awesome. So yeah, I mean, it goes to Absolute Batman for just every time an issue comes out, there's something to talk about with it. And that's not going to change as we go forward into the Poison Ivy story. And
we have the Arkham special coming next week.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy.
It's just a constant flow of awesomeness.
Yep.
Well, we have our ultimate award. This is our the Oscars movie of the year,
Right.
that kind of thing. And so, of course, we have our nominees of Absolute Batman for all the reasons we just said. We've got Fantastic Four for all the reasons we mentioned. Once again, what we consider Marvel's best current book.
That's right. Ultimate Spider-Man, it's constantly in the mentions of Marvel's best book and maybe one of the best books on the stands.
And Invincible Universe Battle Beast for the independent Image books. Even though it's so huge, it is still independently owned between Robert Kirkman and Ryan Ottley. So another great one that, again, when this comes out, this is also my first read of the pile because I just know I'm going to have a blast with it.
So out of all of our favorites, which one is the favorite? That's the question.
And, we didn't do a poll on this one, but I would imagine that it would be in agreement that the Fluxy goes to Absolute Batman. I feel like this is not a big surprise every time it's on here. And, maybe next year this will change. There'll be another book that is just as big or bigger than Absolute Batman. But it's undeniable at this point the impact that Absolute Batman has had on the comic industry, on readers, on the excitement around the Absolute universe. This is one of the reasons I kind of wish they hadn't talked about whether the Ultimate Universe is ending or not. I feel like Spider-Man would have a better chance if it didn't feel like, well, we're coasting into the end of the roller coaster on that one, whereas the Absolute Universe is still, firing full speed ahead.
Yeah, so, something for me is Absolute Batman. My son is a teenager. He reads a lot of manga. He's not super. He loves the Marvel movies and things like that. He's not super into my comics. He likes his manga and that's it. He read all of Absolute Batman of his own volition. I didn't tell him to. He wanted to. He read, at the time, it was 12 issues of Absolute Batman in a weekend.
Yeah.
And then now, every time the new issue comes out, he snatches it up and reads it. So he is, Absolute Batman made a comic book fan out of him, where he wasn't normally into, Western comics. So, and it's doing that for a lot of people.
Yeah, I've noticed a large uptick in, middle school, high school age, who are coming in because the word of Absolute Batman has spread into their feeds. Where usually a lot of comics is really hard to get the news out about what's exciting or what's big or whatever, but this has managed to do that and has brought in so many new readers. So many people who picked up Absolute Batman but are now picking up other stuff too because it brought them into a comic book store and now they're trying out a lot of stuff. So it's done so many things that a comic should. And our Fluxy goes to everybody awesome who's worked on this. On the annual, on the main series. It's been awesome and it's just still getting started. Well, that is it for Infinity Flux 2025 End of the Year Comic Awards, the Fluxies Year 1. I'm trying to push for this to be a huge live event where the audience and physical awards and guest stars and all of that.
Maybe we can have Scott Snyder come by the store next year and accept the award. And
so not saying that we wouldn't lean towards giving the award to whoever we could get to come into the store. But
bonus points. You get bonus points if you show up.
It is bonus points. But this was a lot of fun to put together. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. Let us know in the comments all the stuff you love from this year. We do have some special mentions too. Forgot to plug, but stuff like Ignition Press. Hasn't really been around long enough for us to put it. None of their series have ended yet. Their miniseries to even put in our favorites, but. A lot of those, like Voyeur, have been so good that could easily be up there in our favorite indie series.
Yeah, we have things like, we talked a little bit about Moon Knight, but I have loved the last 4 years of Moon Knight, and this year's been a great year for Moon Knight, too. We're getting a new series starting very early next year. So, I just wanted to, put a little bit of love out there for it. We talk about Marvel's best book, Fantastic Four, Ultimate Spider-Man. But Moon Knight is very, very high up there as well.
Yeah, also the other Absolute books like Absolute Superman, which we constantly talk about, flip-flops between Absolute Batman and Superman, which is our favorite. I feel like the last few issues, Absolute Batman has just been so over the top and crazy that it's taken the lead. But this, War on Smallville storyline and everything has been phenomenal. And I can't wait to see the next issue when we start getting into Superman in the wider world. Mm-hmm. So that and Absolute Flash and Green Lantern and everything the Absolute Universe is putting out has been so cool.
Yeah. We have things like Skinbreaker from Robert Kirkman and David Finch, and that kind of came out of nowhere. Yeah. They told us about it on a retailer call a little bit before it was announced, and was so surprised, like, oh wait, Robert Kirkman is doing like a new IP. This isn't related to anything in the fact that it's going to be 8 issues, but they're already done. Yeah. The artwork, the story, which I like the fact that the story is not overly complicated. Yeah. It's a very simple story with beautiful artwork, but we still don't know like where we're going to get. We were surprised by issue number 2, I believe. Yeah. That could have been one of our shocking moments was, the little bit of a twist there. But yeah, just a new IP from Robert Kirkman. I mean, I'll read anything that Kirkman writes, and the fact that it looks so good, the fact that it's already done, so there's not going to be any delays. Just like such a cool, like that's going to be a great, single issues are great, but that's going to be a great collected edition when it's done.
Yeah. Also, the just mentioned Kirkman, him and Dan Moore taking over Transformers has been awesome, and they're. We got it during the Free Comic Book Day, but now we've got a little bit more. The slow introduction of Mask into the Energon universe. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's another series that constantly has surprises in it that are so much fun.
And I wanted to shout out Gunpowder Profits from Mad Cave. I mean, that might sound a little bit more like recency bias because it's still fairly new. But after every issue of that I've read, I was like, that is so much fun. It's a nice, fun little indie comic. It's set in the 70s. It's a little grindhouse. It's a little bit supernatural. It's a little bit buddy cop. Again, not an overly complicated story, but a really fun one. Every issue has been so fun so far. Just wanted to put some love out there for that one too. If that were to continue into next year, I don't know if it's an ongoing or not, but that could very well end up on this list next year. So yeah, shout out to Gunpowder Profits.
Yeah, and I guess lastly for me, graphic novel wise, Mike Mignola put out Bowling for Corpses. Which is back to Mike Mignola writing and drawing something original. It's not set within the Hellboy universe, but we're going to be getting more and more of these graphic novels set in this new universe. That was really awesome as well to get those. Just so much good stuff coming out this year. Now, stay tuned because coming up very soon, probably next week, we'll be doing what we're most excited for in 2026, kind of a look forward. And that's going to be really fun as well as we kind of dig into the future and rumors and stuff that we've, that's been teased in other books and everything. We're going to be doing that coming up very soon. So stay tuned for that and let us know again in the comments what you've enjoyed so much, what you're looking forward to, and make sure to like and subscribe because we bring comic content like this every week.
Multiple times
a week. So until next time and until next year.
Yes, Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
We will see you in 2026.
That's only in a couple of hours.
Oh my gosh, that's depressing.
Bye.
Bye-bye.